Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming back and checking out our videos. My name is Nate. Our company's custom made by us. And today's video, I'm going to do some printing. Just some printing on the printer. I haven't done a video in a while. I mean, it's been, I think, 4 weeks since I did a video. You can see the house is no longer decorated for the holidays, and that's kind of what stopped me from getting videos out, was just the holiday stuff that was going on. It was just crazy. So holidays are behind us. Well, we do have a small holiday coming up in February, so Valentine's Day, and gonna put together a couple of gang sheets, ready to press gang sheets for the website, and I'm gonna print one of those out today just to print it. So a couple of other things, we got our boxes in, so it's gonna get dark. Oh, I got motion sensors where things just come on when I walk into the rooms. So we had our custom boxes made. I'm gonna turn this around so you can see it. So these are the boxes. This is a 25 by 4 by 4. Super nice. They're really thick, so they don't feel like they're going to crush. It's got the heat press instructions printed on one side. And so we did that, and then we did the 25 by 2 by 2. So these are the smaller boxes. It has the heat press instructions in this side of the box as well. Social media icons, little thank yous, and so on and so forth. So it was funny, as we ordered them, took 30 or 40 days to get here. We've been using these tubes, cardboard tubes. Tubes were costing us about $2.70 a tube, and then the boxes, custom boxes, because these tubes are blank. I mean, there's nothing on them. They're just nothing. So these boxes with all of our graphics and stuff on them, we went from about $2.70 a tube to 97 cents a box. So if you want to get the hookup, be able to do your boxes like that, let me know. So it was funny though. So we'd received multiple boxes. So that box came, and that box came, and there's a ton of them in there. And you can see. So I ordered 1,000 of the 2.5, or the 2 by 2, and 1,000 of the 4 by 4s. So then we got these two big boxes here, which were, I was thinking, and obviously I wasn't right, but I was thinking each box was maybe 500 in a box. You know, obviously looking at it now, you can't really stuff 500 of those in a box. And I was thinking the same thing. There was 500 in there and 500 in there, because we'd received 4 boxes, 2 smalls, 2 larges, and I thought that was the order. Well, lo and behold, about a week later, UPS shows up, and there was 14 or 15 other boxes. So these are all our shipping boxes there. So I got to make some room for them. I'll probably move this equipment out of the way here and just line them up right there, I guess. But we've started using these on shipping stuff out now, and I'm actually pretty happy about that. I just think it looks good, you know. I just think it looks more professional, and that you care about your business and you care about your customers, you know, and that you're putting something together that is going to take care of their product, you know, before it reaches them. So what else is new? So ordered a printer, another 3D printer, thanks to my brother. He bought the Bamboo Labs, one of the printers there, and sends me pictures and videos of it doing its stuff. And, you know, if it looks good on his camera, you know, obviously I got to be able to do some pretty neat stuff with that as well. So I ordered the Bamboo Labs. It's the X1 Carbon with their automated material loading system. So that'll be here before the 16th, I think it said. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm probably going to sell this. This is my smaller resin printer. This is the Anycubic Photon D2. Build plate is roughly that size. So when you're 3D printing, you're not going to 3D print anything any bigger than that build plate. So that's why I bought the Max here, because you can see this build plate's much more substantial. I can print some pretty big things on that printer. So I'm going to sell this and this because I don't use that much. I use that one. And I'll be using the Bamboo Labs once that one comes. So, and then my laser, we do a lot of laser. So my laser upgrade finally came. Inside here you can see that's the new 40 watt laser. Used that a handful of times already, but that's new for custom made by us. So, but anyway, let's get to a print. So I made a gang sheet earlier today. I was doing my alignments. Alignment checks. You always do nozzle checks. Things don't look right, you'll do alignment checks. So I put this down here for just a minute. The graphic I made is, I have a bazillion folders with stuff in it, so I'm surprised I'm even able to find out where I left things or put things. But the gang sheet I did is this one here. Again, it is for Valentine's Day. You can kind of see that up on the screen. I'll zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to print these up. And it is available off of our website. I think when you go to our website, it is just, it's on the homepage is the featured product right now. So, but I'm going to add some more here. And what I end up doing is for each holiday, as we're nearing a holiday, I'll put the featured product as those ready to press transfers for those holidays. Christmas, didn't do anything for New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Valentine's Day, St. Patty's Day, whatever, you know, so that's typically what I do. I'll print a couple out because we ultimately will start getting orders for those ready to press transfers, and it's easier for me just to grab one, stuff it in a box and get it in the mail. So I might print out a handful of these and just have them ready, but let's get at it. So if I go to here and I drag it down into my production manager, I'm going to load it. This graphic, sometimes I'll just do a quick overview of it and see if there's like any fine lines, if there's like real small lines in the graphic. You got to be careful with the amount of choke you put on it. So I'm going to choke this one to, right now it's at 0.2. I'm going to put this at 0.1 of a millimeter. And I just click send, and that sends the job. This is the RIP software. It's called Flexi 22. So it's ripping it, and then it prints it to a PTR file. And then the print exp software, which is this program here, prints those files. So once it's done over here, you can see it's still ripping. You may or may not be able to see that on the screen. Little status bar going across. And then it goes up to printing. And then it says it's done. So once it's ripped and it's put the underbase on it, it's choked it to what I've set my choke to. Now it's ready to print. So in print exp, I'll normally bring my print back to here, and then I'll run a nozzle check on it. I'll do sometimes a clean and a nozzle check before every print. So right here, everything's kind of grayed out because it's getting ready to print. It says print ready. So it's going to print a nozzle check. And we're going to look at it. Not real happy with that white. So we're going to do a strong clean and then another nozzle check. I mean, you can print. If you have a nozzle check and you've got a few bars that are, missing, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to affect it that much. But again, I have OCD. So I'm going to do both heads strong clean. And then after that strong clean, I'll run another nozzle check. And I don't need to do an alignment because I already checked that. There goes the head clean. Because I do a strong, it's going to run it twice. You can see it says cleaning head. Once it's back at idle, I'll just click nozzle test on the printer. I'll say printing, print ready. We're going to get another check. Let's see how that looks. So I just did something I always say don't do. Did my nozzle test. This was not in an idle state. And I was trying to press down to feed the film down. So by doing so, it's probably adjusted my offset by a -2. We're going to check that here in a minute. So but let's take a look at this nozzle check. And that one is perfect. Much better. So happy with that. So I'm going to print. But before I print, I need to check under adjust and then step adjust. So this says one pass is at -2. I normally don't print in one pass. So I'm still going to change this back to 0. Mine's typically I do a 6 or an 8 pass. So I'll check those values. I actually check all the values at this point from 1 up to 8. So 2 is 0, 3 is 0, 4 is 0, 5 is 0, 6 is 0, 8 is 0. So we're good on that. So now I can print. So I'm going to go to File, and in here I have a BD Collection 1. I double click on it. That's the actual gang sheet that I created. And these images, I just got them off of Etsy. I'll go find a Valentine's Day bundle. I'll say, in my search, I'll say Valentine's Day shirts, bundle, PNG. And, you'll find tons of these. So then I'll grab them, gang them up. This is a 22 by 60. And then we'll print that. And then that's going to be, like I said, ready for when an order comes in for it, because it is off of the website. So I'm going to go ahead and click print. Actually, you know what? I'm way ahead of myself here. So normally you'd want this on too. I'll use my pillow slippers to turn it on. Step manual, step auto is always on. Turn on preheat. Preheat is what warms up this intake tray into the shaker. Turn on the oven dry. I'm set to 117. It's at 18 right now, so it's got 100 to go. And then I don't turn on vacuum or powder clear, and I don't do anything with the powder buttons until the film's actually going in. So we're going to get that warmed up and ready to go. So the printer, this is heated on the printer. That's warm. This is warm. This has a fan system in it, so when it prints back and forth, you'll hear the fan blowing, because what it's doing is it's blowing air down onto the ink to help pre-cure the ink before it goes to powder. So when you've got your graphics on your film, you do not want that ink to be shiny when it gets ready to get powdered. It should be like a matte color, somewhat not completely dry, because you need the powder to stick to it, but you need it to be semi-dried before the powder application takes place. So that fan, this heat, it helps to kind of pre-cure that ink, that white ink, before it gets powdered. If you don't do that, if you powder it too soon on wet ink and it goes through the process and then you bake it and you oven cure it, it'll look normal. Your transfer will look okay. The cured portion will still also look okay, but you have uncured glycerin or glycol in the white ink that is underneath the powder. So what happens then is when your customer gets that transfer and they transfer it to a garment, it'll leave white spots all over the graphic. It'll be more visible on the black areas of the graphic, but it's over the entire transfer. So that's definitely not ideal. So that's why you want to make sure that you're properly curing the transfers, the white ink on the transfers, before you're applying your powder and before you're oven curing it. So, food for thought. A little wisdom there for you. And how do I know that? Well, it's because of experience. I one day didn't have the preheat on my tray, and I had turned down my oven quite a bit. Oh, what's going on here? So I turned down my oven from 120 to like 105. Was it 105? Yeah. And I brought it down low because I had seen other people posting online that that's where they put their ovens at. So I thought, why should I be putting mine so high if it doesn't need to be? So when I did that, future transfers for some of our customers they came back that they had undercured, and they had splotches on the transfer. So that was a lesson learned. Always make sure preheat is on, the fan on the printer's on, and my oven, I set it to 117. It fluctuates plus or minus maybe 3 to 4 degrees. It'll go up to 120, and it goes down to 114. So it goes back and forth. So, but when my prints come out, my powder, I can tell it's cured. It's got a nice orange peel texture to it, and it's not. If you over cure it in the oven, it'll come out brown, and if you under cure it, it'll come out kind of oily feeling. So you have to get that perfect balance to make sure that you're curing those transfers properly. So let's take a look and see where we're at. So we're already at 114. So at this point, it's ready to print. I don't need to wait for it to get up to 117, because by the time it reaches that part of the printer, that's going to be done. So again, this is going to start printing my transfer. And you'll hear the fan going. Let me readjust my camera here. So you can hear that. Wow, 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 wow. That's the fan. So I checked this to 1. So I think that looks pretty good. Move this back just a little bit more. One thing I've learned with the powder too, I think I might have spoken to this once before. I would always load this thing up all the way with powder, put as much in here as I could. Well, that puts too much surface tension in there. On the bottom of this powder applicator is a little screen, and that screen is where the powder sifts through. But if you have too much weighted powder on top of it, it doesn't sift through very well. So I put enough powder in the powder bin, but what I do is I move the majority of the powder from this side where that little screen is, I move it over to this side. So it's like a slope going this way, and then there's a little bit of powder down where the screen is. So as it vibrates, the film or the powder comes down off this little slope that I make, and it goes into that little channel, and it comes out really good. So I don't know if you've had problems where you put your powder in the applicator here and it's not coming out real well. Take something and just move the powder to the other side of the vibration bin, and it's night and day. You'll see here in a minute when I turn on manual. Let's see. Is it looking down in there? When I open this up. Gives you a good view into the shaker. You can see my wooden rails that I put in there for the anti-static. I use my little pond magnets. Real heavy duty. So at this point, I'm gonna grab the bottom of this. And I'm gonna use my magnet to the bar. With a 22 by 60 inch transfer, you can almost print the entire transfer before you even start putting it up here on the conveyor belt. But I'm going to go ahead and powder manual. So there's a button on your, or at least my shaker. It says powder manual. So when I do that, it starts dumping powder. A little waterfall of powder there. And to me that looks good. If I had this thing stacked with powder, it would be like sporadically coming out in little areas. So, and I can see like right here, it's a little shy. Sometimes I'll just give it a little encouragement. Because this isn't a real long print, I won't put too much powder in the loop down there. That's probably good there. Then I just keep an eye on it. So then I'll turn off powder manual, and then I set powder auto. So with powder auto, this little bin will vibrate every 10 or 15 seconds, and it drops a little bit of powder each time. There it goes. So this print is already 65% complete. Some more powder. And again, depending on the job, will normally determine whether or not I move my little desk out of the way. It's on rollers. Whether or not I'm putting on a take-up reel and having to take up the film that's coming through. Because this is only a 5-footer, I normally will just leave my desk in place and the film will just kind of roll across my desk and I'll grab it as it's pulling through. But so you can see the white. I mean, it looks really good. and it's not real shiny. You can see it's shiny up there underneath the lights, but as it works its way down here into the applicator, you can see it's more of a matte color, and that's what we're looking for. Nothing else. You're going to get an email from a customer. So 85%, you can see this is almost to the bottom down there. I've got maybe 2 or 3 inches to go. And we're at 88%. So what I'll end up doing on this one is I'll grab my magnet and just bring it up higher. Probably like right to there. And we're at 91%. And I got 5 or 6 inches down below. So that's good. So this print took a total of about 6 minutes to print a 22 by 60. That's not bad. So again, I still use my amazing DTF film feeder, little invention that I came up with. So I'm going to feed this down in. It's a little bit too far down on the bottom, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit higher. So I want to be able to get this cut off. So I put one magnet here. Cut this off right at the printer. And then I bring this right back up to the printer. See that? Didn't bring any powder. Or I need to breathe back up into my printer by feeding it out too much. So then I literally just take my little clip, get it attached, and then I'll put it like so. I'll do a little twisty over here on the side so it won't go down. So this is ready to go. So at this stage, I take off that magnet. I hold down on the conveyor belt, turn on the vacuum, hit the powder clear. Not just yet. There we go. So the film was getting a little bit too close to the other film down below. Okay, now when that's doing its thing, I just slowly lower this little string over here, and it lowers it down. I use a little magnet up there to hold it. And I just feed down as much as I need. Recently I've been doing it where I could wind it up around these little extra magnets that I have right here. And then it would stay held in place. And then all I would have to do is just grab this and I could pull it, just pull out a little extra because it would pull a little bit of slack out. But that works good for me. You might do it another way. Good for you. I do it the way I like doing it, and that's the way I like doing it. So at this point, you can turn off preheat because there's no more film on here. This is really hot. So at some point, I'll turn off the powder auto because I can tell there's enough powder in my loop that I don't need it to keep putting powder in my loop. It's probably right about now. Over time you get a feel for how much powder needs to be in the loop or how much film you're going to have going through it. I'm actually almost out of film. I got to get a roll out of the cabinet, get that hooked up. I looked at it early this morning. We're at the end of the day right now. But I looked at it this morning and it was almost gone. So this is a process that takes a minute. You know, when you're curing your transfers, you don't want to go too fast. It has to move along at a certain speed to properly cure as it goes through the oven. I'll hit powder manual at the very end just to make sure that this little last section is feeding up down at the bottom there. It's what it needs. So I'm done holding it at this point. You can see it's coming out on this side. My nozzle checks. So move my keyboard and my mouse out of the way. And then I have this little piece of film on here that I printed on, and it lines up good with the print coming out of the tray, out of the oven, to help keep it sliding. Because this cutting mat builds up static, and this will start sticking here and backing up in the oven if you're not watching it. So that's what this does. So I can tell by the sound of this, it's getting ready for me to take off my little invention. No, it's still way down at the bottom. Excuse me. I've done some calculations on costs. On average, you know, for us, if this printer's printing 10 hours a day, the printer will do roughly between $300 to $400 an hour. So in a 10-hour day, you can do anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000 a day. Okay, it's getting ready to reach the top here. So that's when I turn off the powder clear. I'll reach in and grab this right here and do my little thing. Pull that nylon string out and we're done. The rest of this is going to come up and feed through it. And again, I said, you know, if it's something of this size, you know, I'll just let it run. I'll let it roll down the little work table here on the back. Every now and then, because of the vacuum on the conveyor belt, you get these little sections that kind of lift up or whatever. So what I'll do is when I see that happening, I'll grab the film and kind of lift it up so it loses its suction. And then just put it back down again. It's not the end of the world if you have a little crease in your film. It's not going to affect the transfer. But me visually, again, because I have OCD, so, and then I'll trim off my nozzle checks. And that's the thing is, like, I haven't calculated scrap. You know, we have scrap because we run our nozzle. We'll run our cleans, which pushes ink through. You'll do a load ink, pushes ink through. You'll do nozzle tests, pushes ink through. You'll do alignment checks, pushes ink through. All of that ink goes into a waste bottle. And then all of our testing, you know, unfortunately this is scrap film that has stuff on it that I printed on it. But that's the reality of if you're doing it right in your business and you're printing your morning print file to make sure alignments are good and your nozzle tests and all the other good stuff that goes along with it, you're going to have scrap. I'll move this way. I love move. These pinks are looking good though. You can see at this point when it comes out of the printer, it's already dry. You know, it's not wet. So, but you can see the ink and the powder has got a nice orange peel effect to it. It feels good. It feels tacky. It doesn't feel oily. It's not brown, so you're not over curing it. So one thing we do for quality control is to test, to check for colors. You know, I'll load the graphic in Photoshop and make sure that the graphics match color-wise for what we have in the graphic and the editing software. And then we'll check for, I mean, you can check for like resolution and stuff. If the graphics poor going in, obviously it's going to print and not look great anyways. So there's not a whole lot you can do at that point. So, and we do get a lot of artwork from customers that's just not good, unfortunately. That's just the reality of, you know, most people that are sending us transfers, they're not artists, they're not graphics designers. They have a t-shirt business or a garment business, garment decorating business, and that's not what they do. They find images on the internet. Sometimes they'll Google them, download them and send them to us, and if they're not licensed or copyrighted. But the downside to it is that image is going to be a 72 DPI image. It's not going to be in the quality that we need to print them. So I'll normally lay this down on the table, adhesive side down, just to kind of give it a, turn off these guys here so it's not so loud. Just give it a once over. Everything to me looks good. Colors look good. These were from Etsy, and I always look for 300 DPI artwork on Etsy, so I know it's ready to go when I put it into my gain sheet. So this came out good. So, and it works good this size here, so I'll show you. If I roll this guy up, again, because of my OCD, I have to roll it from top down. It's just par for the course. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing in the world to roll these things up because of the adhesive that's on the film. It likes to stick to it. You got to realize if you're doing something that's going to go into a small box, Make sure the ends are staying close as I bring it in. And then this one here, what I'll do, I tape the middle of this with heat tape. It's the heat transfer tape that we use. So it's funny too. I'll bend one edge over because I want to make it easy for you to peel it off. So I put this in the middle of the transfer like so. So that's on there, and I'll put one on either end. I won't do it right now. But that little tab makes it easy for someone to peel these off. Because I peeled them off before when there's not a tab, and I didn't like how hard it was to peel it off. So I started doing that process. Let me adjust my camera here. Started doing that process to make it easy because I put 3 pieces on here. I'll put our packing slip, wrap it around here and tape that on there. But then this one will go inside of this box. This is the top. So this is a 25 by 2 by 2. So you can see I got plenty of room in there. So this goes in there. And I'll just leave it for now because obviously I got to take it back out when an order comes in for it, where I'll print out the packing slip. And then the shipping label on this one, I put right up here at the top because it's a 2 by 2. The shipping label's a 4-inch by 6-inch. So it wraps around, 3 of these sides up here is where I put the shipping label on these. But comes out really good. Today's been crazy. So again, I apologize for not doing videos more often. I'm just trying to stay the course, trying to keep up with everything. And again, because of the holidays, and we actually did slow down over the holidays with printing, which was nice, but still lots of stuff going on. So that is the end of my video. I hope you liked watching it. I hope it was helpful if you're printing, if you're doing DTF printing. If you have any questions about your DTF setup or printer or processes, feel free to reach out to me. Even if it's not the setup I have, we're all kind of similar. So if you have questions, I'm pretty sure I can help you out with that. If you like the video, please click that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell notification so you can get notified that next time I post new content. And as always, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the next video.